As Royal Ascot time of year, and Roger Varian, one of the leading local Newmarket trainers, it's a big time for you guys. It's something you all strive to have a winner.
Absolutely, it's actually it comes quite early in our season, but it's probably the biggest flat racing festival of our season, and we certainly do our best to prepare our strongest team for Royal Ascot, and if we can come away with a winner or two, and it's it's a real good early season tonic for us.
You've got runners on each of the 5 days, Roger, and we'll kick it off on the Tuesday in the Queen Anne. You've got Aljamair here.
Yeah, Aljamair here, he's a good horse. He ran third in the Lockinge Stakes on his last start. He's training well. On the book he's got it to do, but he's pretty serious place chance, I think. And if we could find a chink in Animal Kingdom's armour, then hopefully he'd be knocking on the door to win. But I'm pretty pleased with the horse.
He hasn't had a run for quite a while now. Did he have a setback, or is it just taking some time for him? Or
no, he didn't. But the programme sort of dictated. There was actually a 7 furlong race he could have run in last weekend, but then that encroached too close to Royal Ascot. So we decided, when he ran such a good race in the Lockinge, that we'd bring him to Royal Ascot fresh. He's had 2 runs this season already, and he'll be ready to run come Tuesday next week.
On the Wednesday, the Windsor Castle, and Andy's on the run for you.
Andy's on the run, yeah. He's quite a smart 2-year-old. He won his first start, and he was second in the listed national stakes at Sandown just a couple of weeks ago. I think he's pretty strong credentials going into a race like the Windsor Castle Stakes, and all being well, he ran a pretty smart race. Dance
with the Devils and the Duke of Cambridge over the mile.
Yeah, she's a mare who's come over from South Africa. She's been a champion in her own country. She's a 5-time Grade 1 winner. I've been pretty pleased with her training, and it'll be her first run for me and her first run in Europe. It's a tough race to get her started in, but I think the mile at Ascot will suit her, looking at the way she races, and I'm pretty hopeful that she'll be able to show some of that good South African form over here.
On the Thursday, you've got Yaroom in the Britannia.
Yeah, he's a handy horse, Yaroom. He's done nothing wrong. I think he's been placed nearly all starts, and he's won 2 races. He's racing off a mark of 90, which will, I think, give him a competitive chance. It's a tough race, there'll be 28, 29, 30 runners coming down the middle of a track there at Ascot over a mile. But, he'd go on fast ground, he'd get the trip well. He could run a good race.
You settle up El Kayed in the Group 3 Tercentenary?
Yeah, I really like this horse, El Kayed. He was a promising 2-year-old last year. He ran behind Telescope in his 2 maidens. And he's a big horse. He was always going to be a better horse this year as a 3-year-old. He's matured nicely. He's won his 2 starts this year. He won his maiden well, and he was quite impressive winning a conditions race a couple of weeks ago. It's a step up into Group 3 company, but I'm pretty hopeful that he'll handle himself well, and I'd see him going there with a chance.
Princess Nore on Friday?
Yeah, Princess Nore, she's going to run in the Albany Stakes, the Group 3 for fillies, 2-year-old fillies over 6 furlongs. She's only raced for once. She won her only start at Kempton. I'm not sure how strong a field it was, but she beat them quite nicely. She was a little bit green. She'd have come on a lot for the run. William Buick rode her that day, and he was really pleased with the field that she gave him. And we saddled her to go. It's only her second start. It's a tough ask, I think, for the 2-year-olds going to Ascot, but I think she holds enough ability to have a go. Of
course, you've got Mutta Shahid and Hashim as well.
That's right, Mutta Shahid. He's a pretty smart horse. He's a little inexperienced still. He's only raced twice, but he's won his only 2 starts. We're stepping him into the Group 2 company, the 1.5 mile King Edward of 7th Stakes. Whether it's a little bit too much too soon in his career, we'll see. But he's really a nice horse, and he'll get the 1.5 mile well, and I expect a bold run from him. Hashim has been improving over time. He's going to run in the 2-mile race for 3-year-olds, the Queen's Vase, and he raced a 1.5 mile on his last start. He was 3rd, but he was fast finishing. He shapes like he'd get 2 miles already at this stage in his career, and I think when you get a 3-year-old first part of a season, if they truly stay 2 miles, then you've got a chance in this race. So fingers crossed he'll run well.
Hardwicke is shaping up to be a great race as always, and you've got Ekatesham.
Yeah, the Hardwicke looks particularly strong this year. It's always a good race, but I think it's stacking up to be one of the races of a festival perhaps this year. Ekatesham, he won mile and a half listed race at Ascot on his last start, the Buckhound Stakes, which is over course and distance of a Hardwicke. He was very impressive that day. He won 6 lengths, and he beat a good field. So I think if he can reproduce that run next week at at the Royal Meeting, and he's a real big shout.
It's a big week for you. Lots of runners. Can you narrow it down to a couple of your best?
Yeah, it's tough. They're your best horses that you're taking there, so of course you go there thinking you've got a chance, and then you look at the fields and you think, well, every race looks tough. But look, I think El Kayed in the Tercentenary on Thursday, he's won his 2 starts this year and he's improving all the time. He's a pretty nice horse. I'd hope he'd have a big chance. And I think if Ekterheim can reproduce his run at when he ran at Ascot a month ago, if he shows up and puts in a similar level of performance, then he'd really run a big race in the Hardwicke. So perhaps those two might carry the highest expectations from our stable this year. But I don't think there's a horse going. I don't think I've got a horse going who's going to be a complete outsider. I think they're not there just for the journey. They all deserve a place in the lineups. It's going to be very tough, but it's exciting to be involved. And if we could come away with a winner or two, I'd be thrilled.